We're going to look into a squat and a goblet squat today, because a squat is an exercise that a lot of people, while it's a very basic movement, a lot of people don't quite know the fundamentals behind it and why we should be doing the movements that we should be doing. So first up, we're going to get the squat nailed, then we're going to go into how to do a goblet squat. Now with a squat, essentially, I think we all pretty much know the idea of a squat. What we want to get is our feet slightly wider than hips. That's more comfortable for me. We're going to get your toes pointing out slightly so it's more of a neutral position where they're pointing out. And all you want to do from here, we're just going to squat down. Now, when people squat, what I see people doing is they're leaning forward, they're just flexing the knees like this. What we want to be doing, hands across the chest here, and you want to imagine there's a seat behind you. You want to imagine you're putting your bum on a seat behind you, so you're sitting down. Now, if you're struggling with getting the concept of this, literally get yourself a chair, trust yourself, sit back onto that chair. Simple as that. Okay, and that's where we want to be going. We don't want to be leaning forwards onto our tiptoes like this. We want to be sitting through our heels back onto that chair, okay? Now, my mobility isn't amazing. My hip flexors are short. My ankle mobility is short from playing football for years. So my depth in a squat, as you will see, isn't amazing. You probably want to go a little bit deeper than that. We'll get to that in a second, though, how you can combat that. What we want here is you want your chest up. So we don't want to squat down and we don't want to be rounded around like this. We want to keep that chest up, keeps that lumbar spine, lower back nice and straight. And we're getting into that squat and we're standing up full. Now, when you stand up full, I don't think you should be squeezing your hips forward. That's just a personal preference. I don't see the benefit of just squeezing your glutes. I would rather squat, stand to a slight bend in the knee. So we're keeping some tension on the legs and we're just into this position here. So because of my ankle mobility and my hip flexor mobility is not ideal from football and just from lack of stretching, to be honest, if I'm being honest with you guys, there's a few ways around that, and that is to elevate your heels. So here I've got a plate. If you're at home and you're training at home, a couple of books will be fine. Like put a book under each heel, and what it will do, you'll see now, elevate those heels slightly, and I can get much deeper into that squat as long as I'm keeping my chest up, going through that range of motion. You can use a plate. You can actually get some wedges like this here. So this gym's pretty much got all the gear. So we're going to get, again, a couple of wedges under the feet. Because these are even more of an angle, even more advanced, you can get really low. Now, you don't need to get this low, by the way. You don't need to get that low into a squat. You want to be getting just slightly lower so you've got an acute angle in your knee, and we drive up through there. So we're down, drive up through. That's all we are looking for with your squat technique, right? Then we add in a goblet, a dumbbell. Goblet, what the hell's a goblet, by the way? Cup? Who knows? So with this, I've got a dumbbell. You can use a kettlebell, I'll show you in a second, but with the dumbbell, I'll put my hand either side like that. You're gonna get your heels on top if you need to, like me. If you don't, fair play to you, good mobility. And we're gonna hold it close to the chest. Now, the thing that will happen with this is that the weight is distributed forwards, okay? So as we squat down, it's gonna want to pull you forwards. So you're gonna have to really fight to sit back into it, like I spoke about. So we're sitting into that squat, and we're keeping that chest up nice and high. And then we're coming up into that stance. So that's how you hold it with a dumbbell, either side there. If you're gonna hold it with a kettlebell, personal preference for me isn't to hold it by the big round bit. I flip it over, hold it by the horns, random sale, hold it by the horns. I'm just gonna hold it by your chest, and we're just gonna squat, and we stand up through. And that is a goblet squat, keeping the chest up nice and high so we're not rounding over. Lower back is enforced to be straight that way. If you struggle with mobility, make sure you are elevating your heels with something. Any small wedge will be great. Want to keep your feet hip width apart, toes slightly flared out. Should be pretty good to go. Any questions, give me a shout.